Welcome back, everybody. JumpX podcast episode 75. Special guest, JumpX coach, JumpX dunker, Brodie Stevens. He's right here.
Right here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
Oracle.
Oracle, the dunk oracle.
The
Yeah.
dunk Oracle, bro. He's right here.
Yeah. No, how you feeling today, dude? How's everything been? How's dunking been? You had a well, it seems like you had a decent session the other last week. I watched on YouTube. I watched your YouTube video. And you were trying to hit a backboard East Bay and can't remember the
Under
other dunk.
both. Backboard under both, wasn't it?
No. No, I was trying to do that black band challenge and yeah, I got stuck on the backboard East Bay just because I was doing a couple of things wrong with it. Um and I went for 360 behind the back, but yeah, I just wasn't jumping very well and I was a bit rusty going into it. And that court, the grip's good there, but the conditions weren't not optimal. I probably should have done it indoors basically. And
Yeah.
Yeah, fair
yeah,
enough.
I got a dunk contest this weekend. It's nothing too big, I think. I actually don't know who's going to be in it, but it's in Brisbane. It's connected to the dunk shows I was doing in Queensland about a month ago,
hmm
and I yeah, that's on Sunday, and I'm sort of thinking I'm just going to use that as like a practice ground to like try some crazy stuff, just seeing how I feel because it has the nice flexi ring. I can try some elbow stuff if I want, or I can there's unlimited people there, so I could jump over a crowd of people, So I'm going to use it as like a practice ground
Mm.
for like a stepping stone almost. But yeah, that's on my short-term horizon.
I actually have a
Ye-
question for you because I'm trying to stick my fucking elbow in the rim right now. What I feel like I was looking at my clips and I feel like I'm not, do you have to go like sh jump straight up? Like, do you have to like try and reach as high as you can and get your arm straight and then put it in first? Because I feel like I'm trying to put it in too early, so I'm not extending my arm fully.
It's something I haven't like. It's almost like an instinctive thing where you're just going to naturally reach as high as you can anyway. I find when I look back at my footage, I'm lengthening my lat. So if I'm going right arm, I'm lengthening my right lat through
mm.
there. Um, and I just want to make sure my elbow is above my head. So like
Yeah.
probably can't see it, but like if that elbow is above the head, think of it like that. If you can get your head to the rim, you can put your elbow in. But I've seen plenty of people do elbows, and their heads barely not even at the backboard.
Yeah.
So it's about that extension in the lat. You're tilting your torso a little bit, so you're extending all the way down below your ribs as well. So it's like down here, you can't really see it on camera. Um, that and a lot of people, depending on how soft the ring is, and a lot of these rings that these guys dunk on are pretty like flexy. You can just get your forearm, like you can probably get halfway up. Once you get to like the belly of the forearm muscle there, you can kind of just slide it in.
Yeah.
Because as soon as this connects, so let's say my hand's the rim here, as soon as that connects, it's actually going to push that down, and that's the difference. So it's not like you got to jump that extra 2 inches. Like you just have to
Yeah.
put the weight into that rim slightly. And this is why it's much harder to do it on stiff outdoor rings, which is why you never see me do it on those outdoor rings. But
Right.
um,
That's like
but yeah,
that's a quicker to get amputated, I think.
yeah, rip to the rotator cuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
The but yeah, with the elbow attempts with or without a ball, they're a great stimulus. They're like a maximal intent stimulus. It's like a make or miss kind of thing. It's not like trying to touch. I mean, trying to touch a vertex or something similar, but if you don't hang on an elbow hang, you risk like a dodgy landing. So there's a bit of a risk element to it, which is what I
Yeah.
like about it. I would I would almost rather do that than like a max height check on some days, just for that, just because of the variability of it. But
Yeah.
Mm.
like I said, I won't. I'll only do it when I'm indoors or on like a softer ring. But that's a great way of like. So for me to do an elbow hang, I probably need to jump at least 42 inches, maybe,
That's
and
insane.
that's
Shit,
probably like,
okay.
90 to 95% of my max intent. So I'm always going to drive at a minimum that much intent on that kind of jump.
Yep.
And then with a ball, it's much higher again, unless you're doing
So
it off a lob. But
that's like
yeah, so
four
that's
inches lower than your max vert, because a lot of people listening don't know your max vert
yeah,
listening. So
I think on a good day, I'm probably like 46 inches, maybe 47 at its absolute best, but I would say 46 on the safe side.
Wait,
And
what's
yeah, if like 90% of 46 would be 41.4 or something, I can't remember. But it's in that same ballpark, which is why I'm saying like an elbow hang is like a 90% intent jump at a minimum. But if you're feeling fatigued or you've done a lot of volume training, like it's going to be more like 100% intent, or you might not even be able to do it. Like I have days where I can't do it just because I've had such a higher training volume. It's like an off season kind of thing, and
yep.
haven't got the jump reps in to supplement that. So yeah, I like elbow hangs, and I think I've told you in the past, Austin. I think I've told other people at least, keep doing them. Like that's like at least once or twice a session. If you're doing weekly sessions, like that's great stimulus to uh to do that many elbow hang attempts. And it's
Yeah.
different to like just try and do like a height check with your head. It's a different stimulus.
yeah.
Austin's very close, by the way.
Yeah, I had a glance at it
Like,
the other day. I think he posted
I
on a story or something. Yeah.
was it the one at Buckets or at Lakeside? Was it the Red
Uh,
Court? Like the sport court one?
Probably, yeah.
I tried it at both, but I feel like while I was looking
Yeah,
at the
bro.
clips, oh, that's why I asked the question. I was looking at the clips because I've seen people like not jump like to the point where they got their head at the rim and just do it. I'm like, how the fuck did they do that? So there must be like some component of skill behind it. So that's why I asked Brody. I'm like, but what you said
Yeah.
before makes complete sense. Um,
The other thing with the elbow hang is it adds an element of, well, both timing and positioning. You can't jump too far out or too close and pull off an elbow hang. You got to do it at the right spot. Your
yeah,
trajectory or center of gravity trajectory's got to follow a certain path. Um, and yeah, it's actually, I'd say it's almost safer than what people think it is, because once you get your elbow up to the ring, you're not coming down onto the ring. Like you're sort of like, it's like if you're a beginner and you're able to just grab the ring,
yeah.
like that's the peak of your jump. There's no downward, like gravity's not. There's no like terminal velocity or something. Not terminal
It's
velocity.
Yeah.
it's like your vertical velocity hits zero. Like it's that
Well,
point just
yeah.
before you start falling down.
You're meeting the
Exactly.
rim at your
Yeah.
highest point of weightlessness. It's like doing a power clean. Like when the bar lands on you, you're not necessarily getting a crazy like, whoa, you're meeting the bar at
What
the highest point of its weightlessness.
power clean, yeah.
Yeah.
Full clean, you can get
Yes.
buried at the bottom.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
power. That's the thing. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Not a if you're catching
No,
it in
like,
a D squad, it's different. Yeah.
yeah, that's cooked.
Yeah. That's
That's
interesting.
cooked.
That's a good point as well.
I
I
actually
didn't
have a
think
question
about that.
now. I remember in your old videos, in that stadium you used to dunk at, the indoor one. Is that where you got your first double elbow? And if so, how high were you touching, roughly?
Yeah, that's at Murray Stadium. They don't like me dunking there anymore, I think. So that's why you don't see me there very often. But
Yeah,
yeah,
right.
that would have been that double elbow, I think was 2017.
Okay.
I think I'd done one on a no, I went straight to that one. That one I think is 10 foot. Um, yeah, this was like January 2017. I was probably, it would have been like maybe 80 kilos, maybe a bit under that.
Wow.
I would have been, I don't remember having any like knee pain or any kind of like chronic stuff going on at that time. Maybe like my lower back might have been a bit, no, actually, no, that was later in 2017. Um, yeah, no, I think I was just still like, I was a bit of a raw athlete back then. Had a little bit of lifting. I had about a year and a bit of lifting, maybe 2 years of lifting experience by that point.
Hmm.
My max touch at that point would have been, I probably would have been jumping like 45-ish inches. Um, Yeah, I don't
Okay.
know. But like,
Just
yeah,
trying to
because I
think
was
like
only
45 for you is
I was
like
20. I was 20 at that point when I done that.
yeah, okay. Just for like what's the max touch you've done? Like when you tested 46 at dunk camp, what was that like on the vertex? What was that touch?
I tested 45 and I got 11.9, I think, or
11.9,
eleven
okay.
nine and or 11.9 and a half, something. No,
Yep,
no, it
yep,
was
yep.
11.9 because I did it with my right hand. My right arm reaches half an inch shorter than my left, I think.
You got to touch over 12 to test 50.
Basically, well,
12.4,
yeah,
right?
yeah, more like be like 12.3 or 12.4 probably. Yeah, like as my standing reach, my right arm is 8 foot or 8 foot and half an inch, I think. Again,
Yeah.
that varies as well. It depends, if it's morning or afternoon or if it's, if you've done a lifting day to day before or whatever, like there's variables to that. But yeah, I would have to touch,
Yeah.
yeah, well over 12 to test that.
Yeah, no, 100%.
And your 8 foot's
Um,
like stretched out, right?
Yeah, I think I last measured it back in May before I did my last Vertec testing.
Hmm.
And I think it was eight
Yep,
foot
yep,
and
yep.
half an inch with the shoes on, obviously.
Of course, of
Um,
course.
yeah, and then my left arm is, yeah, a bit longer. And I think that's just due to me being right-handed and doing like I'm always gonna have like um, even if it's slight, I'm gonna have that muscular imbalance
Mhm.
just because it's right side's probably more developed, like the shoulder especially. Um,
I
yeah,
have
that's
I have an imbalance between both arms. My left arm is 1 inch, like in terms of standing reach, higher than my right. Like one whole
yeah,
inch. That's
Oh,
insane
wow.
to me.
Okay.
yeah, bloody hell.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's probably more to do with the lat as well. Like,
Yeah.
most lat exercises I do, I'm doing like a bilateral or two hand version. I'm doing pull ups, chin ups, muscle ups. Like I'm doing, and then even when I'm doing like weight stuff, like I'm doing bent over rows, and I'm doing like with a barbell. I'm not doing dumbbells. I might do them occasionally, but everything I'm doing is kind of like bilateral.
I was gonna
So
say, bro, like you got a little cheeky bicep vein popping through there. Like you can definitely see
yeah,
you train up a body.
Yo.
yeah, I don't see it.
Yeah. Well, I can see it on the camera.
Yeah, my
It's
body
literally like
dysmorphia
you
won't
look
let
like you
me
got a
do it.
pump right
Yeah.
now. You just like
He's
crack
just
out a few pull-ups before we got on this podcast. Like, oh yeah, I'm jumping on the podcast. I'm gonna fucking look jacked.
No, not quite. No, no, I'm completely.
Or you've been fighting the crocodiles, have you? All the crocodiles up in Townsville.
You don't mess with them up here. Hell no.
Yeah.
That's a whole other animal.
Yeah. Literally, it's
oh
a
man.
dinosaur.
Mm.
Yeah.
Crazy thing with crocodiles is they don't die of old age. Apparently, well, I mean, they eventually they do, but like their lifespan can just go on and on in the perfect environment.
Well, so they
They just,
die of like other crocodiles or like random shit.
I
Bro,
think
like
that's
we actually got like quite a few like foreign people that would listen to this like overseas, like in America and all, Europe, all that sort of stuff. They have no idea about crocodiles, hey. Like far
they
out. Yeah.
they got crocodiles in Florida technically. I mean, they got the alligators, but there's actual crocodiles that come up from the
Yeah.
Caribbean, make their way up, but they're not quite on the level of the estuarine crocodiles of North Queensland and Northern Australia. They get in WA as well, so they're not far from you guys.
Yeah, it's kind of like once you get past like
It's like
Gerald, you
Port
know where
Hedland.
Geraldton is? Yeah. Oh, yeah, maybe even further, like Port Hedland, yeah. You start getting those boys on the beach and shit.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. They'll
yeah.
get you.
You won't see them, but they'll see you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
yeah,
literally
don't.
like all it will how was that?
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't walk your dog along the beach or anything. Like
Yeah.
that's a delicacy to them.
No, that's crazy to me. Like like where you are, you're
Yeah.
literally kind of a walkie dog on the beach because there's like such a high risk of like a crocodile fucking coming out and getting it and you
Yeah, because a small like a dog like could be a big dog or a small dog, but that's more approachable than like a 6 foot human to like some of the smaller crocodiles. Like a crocodile might be 2 or 3 meters long, but they might still be intimidated by a human. But if they see a croc, they're
Yeah.
like, oh, that's a I can fit that. But anyway, I think we're going too far in a random direction there with that topic.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Anyways,
But
to bring
unless
it back,
GT?
today we're actually supposed. Oh, okay, we guess we could cover GT's new dunk as well first, but yeah, we'll cover GT because one of our athletes hit a new dunk, which was pretty cool. Um, and I want to hear Brody's thoughts on it, but also like we got to talk about the fact. Well, main topic today was supposed to be uh why it's so important to get those jump reps in when you're younger and focus primarily on jumping.
Yeah.
Because Brody can speak a lot about this because that's how Brody got so good, is just getting all those reps in. But yeah,
100%.
Gavin, what do you think of Gavin's dunk, bro?
it's impressive. I didn't know he was going to go for that. Yeah, and I knew as soon as he posted, oh, it's a world first dunk, which I think it technically is, but I knew everyone would come out of the woodwork and be like, oh, well, actually, Jordan did it this way, and Isaiah did it this way, and Sutherland did it this way. They're all still like, I think a lot of those are easier variations because the way Jordan did it, he had someone holding the ball on a platter for him, and yeah, he hit it off the backboard, but I think that's just following the pathway of where it would have gone anyway. And then the other ones I saw were people doing it where they have the ball in their hand off the dribble and they're just bringing it to their head, just headbutting it. And
Yeah, I saw that one as well.
in terms of coordination, Gavin's one I think is a lot harder.
Yeah, he's very coordinated for his height. You don't see that too often. Like for a 6'8" guy to be that coordinated. Like he seems to like learn super quick. Like he picks up dunks quickly
Mm.
as well. Like
Six
he's
eight
very
and coordinated. That's I can only think of like LeBron and Gavin. That's
Yeah,
that's it.
yeah.
yeah, for sure.
The white LeBron. Yeah.
Literally, yeah.
It's
Yeah,
nearly
that's
East Bay now
funny.
as well, so
You gotta try it next, Brody.
Yeah, I was telling them that I was going if I was doing it off the dribble like these other guys were doing it, I could probably get it within two or three attempts without ever trying it before. But off the lob, how he did it, I'd probably need a couple more attempts at least. I know it's an interesting dunk, but it's that kind of dunk you go for when like you've run out of ideas as well, because it's like, oh, what can I do now? You know, it's like I got to hit off my head or I got to throw it off this shot clock or something. You know, there's all these different. That's how you know the dunk world is really reaching for ideas because we've everything's been done almost. So
Imagine doing that, catching it and then windmilling though.
yeah, it's like unlocked a whole new category, really. You know, I'm thinking of someone like Donovan Hawkins or someone like that. They might see that and go, I'm going to add an under both to it or an East Bay or something.
Bro, imagine,
yeah.
bro, that's stupid. Imagine doing an under both off that. That's
Mm.
I don't
That's
know.
the kind of you could probably do that by he'd probably do that by accident or just like you know, I mean, like I've had dunks where I've done them, you know, I've gone for something and it's like I've
Yeah,
ended up catching it one hand and I've brought it around this way and I've like as a
Yeah.
backup, like as a bailout, I've gone and done like a windmill out of this certain catch instead of like a East Bay that I was going for or something. So
that's how you know you're a
sometimes,
freak when you accidentally windmill.
yeah, that's
Yeah, that happens to me so much all the time, bro. Like, yeah, I just
don't you hate it?
It's not,
yeah.
yeah, it's annoying.
Yeah,
Oh fuck, my backup dunk was a windmill.
those pesky windmills.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fucking hate it when it happens. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, no, oh, so okay, so like we need to talk about how because I made a few posts about this on Instagram, how important it is to build a base of jumping first. And the earlier you can start, the better. And the better you're gonna be. Like there's a caveat to that. Like I wouldn't say
Mm.
like too early, but like when like
Yeah,
a
I know what
teenager,
you mean, Austin. I know what
you
you
know?
mean.
Like
Yeah,
what are your thoughts on that in your experience with that?
well, I'll speak on my experience first, just anecdotally. Um, I didn't even really try to do any jumping, at least any 2 foot jumping, until I was really 13. That's when my dunk journey started. I was like, I think I just turned 13, yeah. And so grade 8 in high school, and Yeah, like all I remember is I was jumping almost every day in bad shoes, outdoor concrete courts. Maybe once a week I'd get to go indoors. I ended up getting shin splints because of that. But all those jumps I did at that age, I, I, what I do also remember in terms of like the technique aspect is I went on, I think, no, it wasn't even until like 2010 I started going on YouTube and looking up like dunkers and that, and seeing the technique. And that's where the neuroplasticity side of things gets into it. This is what I want to talk about more is the plasticity in general with younger athletes, like adolescents mainly, because my I can only speak as a teenager going forward with my dunk journey, but neuroplasticity and plasticity in general is much higher
Yeah.
or more adaptable, mainly in kids, like probably six. I mean, basically from a baby up, neuroplasticity is a huge thing, but um, it's peaking, in my opinion, in those like primary school ages, like middle school age, and then as a teenager as well as an adolescent. Um, yeah, I think the plasticity side peaks more as an adolescent, but the neuroplasticity is like when you're younger. So if you were a kid and you were like,
Mm.
I want to jump higher all that, I would just be like practicing the technique more than anything. And this is where when I see some of these dunkers coming through that are like, forget their names, but the ones that are like, 8 years old or 10 years old and they're doing like low rim dunks. And it's like, I never did any of that. If I had done that, that's probably one of the things I would have changed in my journey. I would have
Mm.
found access to a low rim or even like a trampoline or something. And I would have just repped it out and out and out, like, which I never did. Like all my first time hitting a lot of dunks, I was just going for it on 9, 10 or 10 foot. And I probably could have hit a lot of these dunks sooner if I was going on lower rings. But
Yeah.
I still got away with it because I was still young. I was only like 16, 17, 18 when I was doing all that. And that is something I want to reintroduce even right now. I want to get into low rim dunking just to I mean, I kind of already do it a little bit just without the ring. Like when sometimes before a leg day, I'll get the ball and I'll just jump and do like an East Bay and then just make sure I bring the ball up. But, you know, almost like dunking in an imaginary ring. But
Yeah.
anyway, but like it's not the same thing truly, but it's a good way
Yeah.
for like warming up though. But yeah, I think, yeah, on that plasticity side of things, that's when you're like you can speak genetically. Some kids are they're blessed with like a higher proportion of type 2X muscle fibers. Maybe I was in that same category. I really don't know if I was because when I was younger, this is where sort of my anecdotal experience is kind of confusing here. I was a really good cross country runner, like 5 kilometer, 10 kilometer sort of distance. I was always like every time we had a fun run at school, I was always like top five or top three or whatever. Like I think even one time when I like walked half of it, I still came like 10th or something. So and I made like rep teams for it and stuff. Like, and it wasn't my passion, but my body type suited it. I'm very
Yeah.
ectomorphic and I was always very lean. And, I do have like longish Achilles tendons. Like, I don't think they're super long, but they do take up at least 50% of I guess almost like your tibia length or your shin length.
Hmm.
Um, so once you're over that 50% mark with your Achilles, I think that's where it is a huge advantage. Um, so I had that as like a positive genetic predisposition, but I do believe like when you're younger, and this is probably what happened to me, even though like if I haven't ran long distance in 10 years, but if I was to go out right now, I'm pretty sure I could still do pretty well. Um,
I have
I
a
found that,
counterpoint for that. I mean, not a counterpoint, but I was thinking of something because in high school, in year 12, I was the same. Like I trained a little bit for cross country in year 12, and I did really well. I got like second or third in year 12. Um, but like, is it because my body type was good for distance running, or was it that I was the only one really training for it and everyone else didn't give a fuck? I don't know.
I
Because like
never
at the same
trained for
time,
it.
I was you didn't train at all. But like maybe through just like playing sports, you were just like more fit than the other kids.
Yeah,
I
and
don't know.
that's the other thing I want to point to. I didn't play any club sports until I think I was 10 years old, maybe 11 actually. Yeah, I was 11 when I first, oh, I wasn't even club. I was playing, yeah, I was playing club. Yeah. I played rugby league, I played cricket, and then I got into basketball. Those were like the three main sports I
Interesting.
did.
Did you play
I
that
did,
before you were a teenager? Those sports before you were a teenager?
I played cricket and rugby league when I was 11 and 12.
Yeah.
And I would have kept playing rugby league at the age of 13, but I just remember like everyone was trying out for the team. I remember going to like the school tryouts and everyone was trying to do it. And I was like, fuck this. I don't want to go up against everyone. It seems like everyone wants to do this. And I was also, even at that age, I was already thinking of like the risk of concussions and stuff and just head knocks and that. And I was like, I think I might
Yeah.
I think I even had one at one point in one of the games. I can't remember, but ironically enough, the, but I think at that, even at that age, I knew like, yeah, rugby league is a long-term thing is it's probably a bit too rough. And I was pretty scrawny and skinny then. And I was like, is this my kind of thing? And then I got approached about playing basketball and I was like, all right, I'll give it a crack. And then I had a growth spurt and then my dunk journey started. Well, my growth spurt and my dunk journey was, it was along the same timeline. I was short when I started trying to dunk. I was probably only like 5'3" or something when I first started trying to dunk. So um, I
How
don't have
tall were you when you
measurements. I
first
don't actually.
dunked?
I think I was around 5'9" or 5'10".
Okay.
But
Nice.
I just don't know
Nice.
how tall I was at the start of grade eight. I don't remember measuring myself. I probably was at least 5'6". I don't know. It could have been, but the only thing I do know is that when I was 10 years old, I was 150 centimeters. So that's a tad under 5 foot, I think. So
Yeah.
and then at the age of 12, I was definitely at least
Interesting.
5 or 10 centimeters taller by then. Um, but yeah, I'd like that. The point is there is that I was playing sport. I was very active almost every day. I was probably in a caloric deficit as well, not caloric deficit, but like I think I stayed so skinny because I wasn't eating as much as most people, but not that I was like not looked after or anything. It's just I just didn't always have like the biggest appetite. Um, but yeah, the fact I was very active and I had like a variety of sporting background and like every day at school I was always out doing something as well. I guess actually, yeah, when I was in primary school, that's when I was actually training more for cross country now. I remember I was doing like, morning practices and stuff with like the school team and that, but that was like in grade four, grade five, I think. But so it's not too relevant. But I went from that. Cricket is not really like it's not an explosive sport unless you're like at a very high level. But that rugby league is just kind of more like endurance. But anyway, I didn't really have much of like a
Yeah.
short athletic sort of like, I mean, like an explosive sporting background. Like basketball and dunking was kind of like my first real exposure to that.
Yeah.
Um, and I
Yeah, I
must
don't,
have made
yeah.
and I made this shift from like being dominantly like type one fibers. Like so, most people on average they have like the average person. If you were to survey them, it's like I think they've got an average ratio of like 50 to 50, like a 50-50
Yeah.
ratio, like type
It
two and then type one.
depends on the
And
muscle as well though. Some
it
muscles
does, yeah.
just tend to have, but yeah, I know what you mean.
As a whole, like when you
Yeah.
average it out, yeah. But like if you
Yeah.
shifted it, but I think it is, and this is where the plasticity thing is more relevant. I think when you're younger, it's easier to shift that ratio. I think. I mean, I was researching trying to find like something to confirm that statement, but that's kind of been my belief for years anyway. And that's kind of tying into what Austen is saying, at least about me. It's like the more reps you get at a younger age is like it's a huge advantage because you can take full advantage of that plasticity and the neuroplasticity side of it as well. The neuroplasticity kicks in for the technique aspect. You can watch a video or see someone in person doing like a 5-step 2 foot approach with the full arm swing. They can see that once or twice and they can replicate that much easier than maybe an adult can first go.
Yeah.
Like think of it. Another thing that's sort of like comparable there is like I'm going to compare this to golf. Like I'm pretty shit at golf. I'm that's not a bold statement. The what I'm noticing is like I haven't actually had like any coaching on my golf swing or anything, but my golf swing is very like unnatural, and it's like I'm holding back. I'm not going 100%. But if I was to learn golfing at 13 instead of dunking, I really think my golf swing would have developed much quicker.
Yeah.
And like this is on alternate timeline or alternate universe. And if I was then trying to get into dunking at the age of, if I'm, let's say 23 or 24 when I first picked up a golf club, um, I think I would be struggling a bit. Well, not struggling, but like it would take me longer to develop that natural jumping technique that I've got. So
You're spot
it's
on,
it's
bro.
much it's much
Yeah.
easier. And like you could pick anything. You could pick like dancing. You could pick any kind of sport. Like I say dancing because it's a very like coordination orientated like activity.
Gymnastics.
Gymnastics, especially, yes. Any of these sports where like there's a very specific technique involved. Like it could even be something like shot put or javelin. Like learning that technique is
True, yeah.
like because you've got the weight resistance as well, so you can't really afford to mess it up. Um, yeah, like I like that's me personally, in my anecdotal experience. Um, but I do think with all those reps I was doing when I was younger, like that jump technique just sort of solidified more naturally. It just sort of I already had a sort of half decent
Yeah.
technique before I even started looking at like videos on YouTube and whatever, because I didn't really have exposure to people in person dunking in Townsville in 2010, 2009. They're like the best people could do was like grab the ring or do like a rim grazer, and that was considered elite in Townsville. But um,
Yeah.
so I kind of just figured it out on my own for the most of it. But again, it's kind of like what I was talking about with that elbow hang thing. Like your body is going to eventually, sooner or later, it's going to find like the way to optimize the reach or the
100%.
the extension. Like,
Yeah.
so for me, that version was like, let's swing the arms in sync with my triple extension. The arms should be above your head as your body is like straightening. So like when the triple extension is happening. If you do it
Yeah.
too early or too late, like that's when it becomes clunky and you lose like 5 inches of vert off that. And that's something that, if you're an older athlete, you probably have to be coached more with that. But when you're younger, the neuroplasticity is going to kick in, and then just plasticity in general is going to kick in. It's going to be like, this is how you got to do it. Like it's a subconscious thing for the most part, but
Yeah.
it's very relevant. And yeah, if I had started my dunk journey maybe at like 20 years old, it could be a very different story.
That's funny you say that
Yeah.
because that is exactly my story. I started my dunk journey at 22 and I didn't have any like strength or power or any sort of maximal like speed work at all through my teenage years. So that's where like when even though I was 6'4" at 22 and had a good strength training background at that point, I couldn't dunk. I had no skill, no coordination, couldn't jump off 2 feet at all, anything like that. Um,
Yeah.
and it's fucking hard because then I've had to play like catch up, and that's where like with my training, the primary thing that gets me better faster is just doing more jumping, more speed work, more plyometrics, and having strength work second to that. And there's probably a lot of people listening to that, this in that same sort of situation that are older that we train people in that same sort of situation. It's the same situation. Just getting them stronger without that emphasis, it doesn't work. It doesn't transfer well. Um, so that's where most of the emphasis of their training needs to go on that because they're trying to play catch up. Like I'm trying to play catch up of fucking 10 years of jumping that I didn't get, you know, through that
But
period.
it's also like it's hard to play catch up to the same extent because if you're 22 versus 12, obviously when you're 12 you can jump way more and just get way more reps in. Like you can't just go out right now, go and do like a 2 hour jump session,
Yeah.
then wait a day, then repeat. Like you would just die. You'd fall
That's the
apart.
other thing. That's the other thing as well. Your body isn't as well adapted to it. So it takes like the thing you need to do most is the thing your body isn't
Used to.
adapted to or used to doing. So then
Mm.
you're more susceptible to injury because you didn't have those reps when you were younger. So it's kind of like one of those things where it's kind of difficult. You have to be very careful how you progress into it, even though that needs to be your main focus. So that's where it's very interesting training people like that.
Another thing is speaking of puberty and like adolescence, growth hormone levels are higher. And when you're making
Yep.
newbie gains, whether it's with muscle or it's with tendon stiffness, developing these traits, doing it at 13, 14, 15 years old, you're probably going to get more return on investment in the short term than you would 10 years later.
Yeah. You're
And that's
supercharged, pretty much.
yeah. Yeah, so like you've got like free steroids in your body basically because of that.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
you got HGH at higher levels. I think like I'd have to double
No,
check
yeah,
that,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm pretty sure at that age like it's really flowing then. So
And you just
um
want to fuck everything. So
Hey, hey, speak for yourself, bro.
yeah.
yeah, don't know about
It's true
everything,
though,
but
man.
yeah.
It's true. So many distractions, like yeah.
Yeah, but
No, it's
Um,
actually
that is
crazy. Like, yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Well, I know like I was 20 times hornier when I was a teenager than I am now, so
But at the same time, do you think if you weren't training as hard as you're training right now, it would come back? Because I notice when I have like a deload week, or like I ease off my training, it comes back like tenfold, like compared to what like it would be in a hard cycle. I don't know,
well,
maybe that's just me.
yeah, but yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Like 100%. If you
I don't know. I guess
overtrained, you're gonna have
Saturdays with the
yeah.
boys just gets a bit like that sometimes. I don't
If
know.
you overtrained, your dick isn't gonna get as hard.
Yeah, bro,
It's just
you
a
like
it's a
almost get
thing.
you get capped out, bro. You get stuck at like 70%.
Yeah, so that's a very good
Brody's like,
indication you need to fucking relax and train less
yeah, yeah.
and spend more time with your girlfriend.
Brody, can you
Uh,
relate?
yeah.
yeah, my mind was actually back to one of the points regarding the muscle fibers. It's bit sort of a weird tangent, but I was just thinking that it's because you just said 70% about something. So I was like,
Oh,
well,
right, yeah, yeah.
what I read is the 70% is relevant for when you're doing an exercise to recruit every muscle fiber. So like type 1, type 2A, and type 2X. It's like you have to recruit the first two to recruit the third as well. So, but you can only do that once you're doing lifts or exercises that are at like 70% or greater intensity. That's what I read. 70 might even be 80%, but like anything that's within like a 5 rep range or something. But you can also reach that when you're doing, you could be doing a set of 10 or 15, but on those last X reps, as long as they're close to failure or at failure, you can
Yeah.
also tap into that, the motor unit recruitment.
Also
Um,
pushing intent as well.
yeah, yeah. So,
Like, even though you can,
and,
yeah.
and when you're younger, as a teenager or a kid, if you're jumping, or if you're trying to like jump high, this is what I did. I just jumped every day. I didn't really do too many specific exercises. The only exercise I really did was like I'd sprint up and down or up staircases because it was at school, and I would sometimes do it with like a weighted backpack and stuff. But I would do these. Everything I did was at very close to 100% intent because I didn't know any
Yep.
better. And this is what drives that adaptation, that shift from that 50% type 2 X5 like up to 80%. I think 80, 85% is like the upper limit for the composition. So if you looked at like Usain Bolt or some elite sprinter, they're probably going to have like 85% type 2X in their prime. But that's where I think it's relevant um, as a kid or as a teenager rather.
Yeah.
So that is something I wanted to make sure I say.
I will say this though. This is what I got taught. So you're kind of like born with a pretty much set in stone fiber type. But when people talk about the shift, it's more like some of your fibers are acting more like a different fiber, if that makes sense. So some of your type 2A start showing, some type 2X properties or the other way around. Or, maybe they go the other way, like go to type 1 and
Mm.
yeah.
all I know is, yeah, you do an autopsy on like a marathon runner, and you do an autopsy on a
Mm,
elite sprinter or vertical jumper. It's going to be very different. Like when you look at
100%.
their like calf or their quads or whatever, like it's going to be a very different composition. The tendons as well are going to be different. Um, yeah, so that I think if you're trying to improve that, it's not impossible to do it in your 20s and 30s and even 40s, but it just becomes harder and harder as you get older, which is why the sooner you start, the really the better return on investment you're going to get.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that's kind of what I tell. Like I coach kids as well and teenagers with the basketball coaching, and whenever I'm showing them plyometrics or general strength stuff, I'm I I am emphasizing that point. Basically, it's like the younger you are, the
Yeah.
easier it is to make gains, and the more effective those gains will be. The gains will be in the right direction.
yeah,
Um,
100%. And
so
that's why I say just who cares about the strength work when you're going through your early teenage years? Just focus on jumping because you don't want your body to shift to being, slow and strong because you don't want to be good at that. You want to be good at jumping. So fucking go out and jump
Well,
and make that the base of your training because that's what's going to solidify later on
mm,
your genetic limit and potential and how far you can go and how quickly you progress and everything like that. Like I would be
yeah.
far better than I am now if I did what Brody did, but I didn't and I didn't know better and I didn't have that knowledge or know anything. I didn't even know you could train to improve your vertical. So anyone that's listening right now, if you're around that age or even in your early 20s or late teens or whatever, like this is what you need to do.
1,000%, bro. It's way harder to develop faster ground contact activities when you're, every year that you get older, after probably like 16, it gets that little bit harder. So, lock in with it as soon as you can. That's what you're saying, Austin.
But anyone that's listening that is older, that don't listen to this and be discouraged or anything like that. Because at the end of
No,
the day, you
no.
can still improve. You can still get better. And if you have goals of wanting to
Yeah, way
dunk, it's
better.
still
Yeah.
possible for you. You just got to be ready to work. That's all.
And yeah, if you want help with that, obviously send one of us three DMs saying JumpX and we can help you out. We'll write a program around your needs. We'll take into account your age, injuries, training history, pretty much everything we've spoken about. And yeah, your program will be custom written for you, so you're going to get the best results that you physically, humanly can in the fastest time. Wow.
yeah, I concur with that.
They just have no word. They just have no words now.
Tom, you're making me blush, dude. I'm getting
Do
getting
you
all
want to sign up,
shivers.
Austin? Do you want to sign up to JumpX, bro?
Yeah. Yeah, can you coach me?
Yeah, I'll coach you, bro.
You seem like you know something.
Nah,
Seem like you can help
nah.
me.
I had
Same with
Chat
Brody.
GPT up, bro.
Hey?
I was using Chat GPT.
Oh, really?
No, no, I was joking, but
No.
I
Wait, Tom,
am Chat GPT.
when did you start your dunk journey, Tom? When was like your first jumping?
What
What,
age?
yeah, what age? Roughly
17.
17. So you're kind of like you're a good example of like if I started at 12 or 13, then Austin started at 22, then you're halfway in the middle. Yeah, so you're like a good
Yeah,
sort of case study in that point.
yeah.
So
Uh,
He
and
also got
you're
yeah.
elite genetics from his dad, KB.
Chris Barnes, yeah.
he's
Yeah.
jumping the highest out of the three of us as well. So
Yeah.
maybe that's the sweet spot. Maybe you need to start at 17. Maybe keep being a kid at
Mm.
13 and then maybe start at 17. I don't know, but
I uh I
But
just do
he,
like a bunch
maybe
of
Tom,
random quests.
if Tom
yeah.
started at 13, maybe he'd be jumping 52 or something by now. So
Oh, I've actually had this like random ass thought because like from the ages of like 13, maybe like 14 to like 16, like just before I started my dunk journey and really getting into fitness, bro, I like barely played. I played like maybe one or two basketball games a week, and that was really it. And I just played a ton of video games. So maybe because I was like doing fuck all my fibers all shifted because when you don't do anything, they shift to type 2.
hmm,
Maybe just by playing a lot of video games, I just shifted to type 2 and then started dunk journey and just rode that wave. It's probably not the
Don't
case,
don't
but
give anyone
yeah.
that idea. That's a shit idea.
Like, nah, I still did a lot like at school and cross country and yeah, all that. But
Yeah.
yeah,
No, yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
There's no magic number. Just start as soon as you can, man. Like,
Bro, I was a hardcore gamer when I was a teenager, so I reckon my thumbs are just like typed away like as fuck, like super fast, like you know.
does your girlfriend know? Okay.
No, no,
Nah.
but no, like no, serious though. Like I should have gamed less and jumped more. But I didn't know. I didn't know this is where it's gonna end up, but it is what it
Hmm.
is, you know? It is what it is.
Yeah. It'd be exciting to see like because anyone that doesn't know, well, no, I don't think many people know, but Brodie's actually coming over to Perth sometime in November, and we're probably gonna have like 3 to 4 dunk sessions. I don't know. But yeah, it'll be exciting to see how all the boys are jumping. We also have Liam Broad coming over. He's from Melbourne. Dan, I don't know how to say his last name, Casserole, whatever. He's also coming over.
Dan, Dan chicken
Dan,
casserole.
yeah, I don't know how to say it, bro. It's
Yeah.
like casserole or something. Yeah. No, I reckon the session's gonna be cracked, bro.
Dan
Yeah,
Cassowary.
yeah. Hey, what did you say?
Dan Cassowary. Just thinking, we have cassowaries
Yeah.
where I live, so it's
Who,
Yeah, I don't do.
yeah. No, that's gonna be
cassowaries and
fun. That's gonna be
yeah.
fun. That's actually gonna be so fun. Like, I feel like, I don't know, like, we could just try so many things. Like, we should have the Vertec and then see who tests the highest on that day.
We could do that on the Saturday.
Just for
Oh
fun.
no, no, maybe on like the Wednesday or something when there's like not 1,000 cons there. Because that first Saturday is gonna be busy, bro.
Because you can have adrenaline going and everything. Like, it'd be like a good environment
Sure, I
to.
mean, yeah, that's true. That's true, yeah.
And then we're gonna have KB
Um,
pumping AC/DC, so like you can't
brown,
get more hype than
brown.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
Or
Well, I'm a
nah, we can put Katy Perry on. That's going hard for me at the moment. Who said that?
Huh?
Who said that's gay?
Not me.
Oh, that's my girlfriend. I'm
Oh,
hearing it. That's so weird. I'm hearing her through my mic, so I'm like
yeah, yeah,
really trippy. Like, because I got the headset on, so I can only hear her through the mic, and I can't hear
yeah. No,
in
because
real
I,
life, you know.
I I
So,
heard it, so I was like, I didn't say it.
uh, yeah.
What were you gonna say,
She's
Brody?
actually going to enter the 8 foot dunk contest as well.
Is she
So,
actually?
yeah. So
Wait, I feel like you're putting
we're
words in her
gonna
mouth. I feel like
no, we
off the
got to get
camera, she's
Cassie.
like,
We got to
nah,
get
what?
no, we
Huh?
got to get Cassie to do it as well.
Okay.
We got to get all the girlfriends in it.
Wait, how tall is May, Brody?
Hey?
I'll
think
bleep
she,
that out if you want me to, but
yeah, I
No,
think
that'd be
she's like
so cool, dude. Imagine getting all the girlfriends in the 8 foot contest.
yeah.
The
May might
judging
need
will
to
be
seven.
so biased, but
What did you say, Brody?
I think May is about 5'1" or 2, and I think she'll probably need a
Oh no.
7 foot contest.
yeah.
I don't think she can jump off.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's not jump.
Yeah.
She's more of a runner. She's all into the running and stuff. I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe her tendons have remodeled enough now that she can jump. But I don't know.
Well, Brody,
Yeah.
you're just gonna
She
have
has
to start training her.
that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was gonna that trend I've been seeing on Instagram where you pick your girlfriend up and she hangs on the ring and then you shoot the basketball in and then you take like a screenshot of it. That was all the training I was gonna do really. I wasn't gonna.
Or you can do what I did with Hack, where I just like stood under the rim and just boosted him or
Yeah, I
something.
Yeah.
saw
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then she can just like you can just like throw her up and let her land herself and she can go between the legs, you know?
I
Bro,
think I
when you
tried
think
that.
about it,
I tried that before and she freaked out. So yeah, yeah,
bro,
I don't
Brody,
think
if
that's something.
if 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 you like put her up on the ring and she was hanging and then she dropped and landed on the floor, is that like a 60-inch depth drop?
Shut
That,
up.
that's a That's
I
a
don't know. It's quite a
that's a
far away,
death
bro.
it's a death wish to the untrained. I'll say
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Bro, that's the secret to bounce, right? 60, 70 inch like death drops, just like,
straight
jumping off the roof of your
Bro,
house.
that
So then
actually
you
straight
just
get
for
all
the
unlocked
those
a
headbutt.
memory.
eccentric, then you get all those eccentric forces. So then you get those forces you're experiencing approach jump. It's just going to be like fuck all in comparison to that. So body's just going to be ultra prepared for any amount of speed you're going to bring into your approach jump. So then you can just jump 50 inches. Is that correct?
Yeah, man. Go and do that, please.
No, don't.
No.
I'm talking shit. Don't go and do that, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but that should be fun. Like,
I'm arriving on a Sunday, so the first session would be probably Wednesday or something,
The Wednesday. Yeah.
or I could
Ah,
do one even
bro, I'll
earlier.
dunk on Monday with you if you want.
I
no,
think,
don't fucking dunk on Monday. You're gonna you're
No,
gonna get to
it's
Wednesday and then it's gonna be Saturday and then everyone's gonna be, oh, can only jump 10 times. My knee pain's fucking
yeah,
8 out
good
of
point.
10.
I'll probably end up having a
You know,
6 hour session with Brody on Monday.
yeah, exactly. So no,
mm,
don't do that. You're gonna die. Like yeah, someone's
Do we know
yeah.
when everyone else is getting here? Like, I know Dan's gonna be later.
Also, side note, Liam better be able to jump at least 50 times or I'm gonna be pissed.
Oh, yeah, no shit.
Liam's gonna be listening to this. I don't want to hear any bullshit like, oh, my knee, like, no, no, no. You better be fucking ready, son.
Yeah. Well, he's back jumping now, so like, unless he like
Yeah,
does some dumb shit and like sends his knee backwards, it should be
yeah.
good. I want to see him hit like a win. I want to see Dan hit a like under both.
I want
I
to
want to
see
see
Brody
Brody,
hit a
bro.
360 between the legs whirlwind in person.
But like
yeah,
that's
I
one of
can do
those
that.
dunks you kind of have to spam, and like it becomes your whole session. Like you wouldn't do that
Yeah,
on a group
true.
session, right? I mean, unless you hit it first
Well,
go.
when I hit it, I think it took me about 12 attempts on the day that I did hit it.
Okay,
But
okay,
when I was attempting on the lower ring 6 months before, I think it took me about 2 or 3 sessions of about probably 40 attempts each, maybe
that's
50. I
insane.
don't know.
I
I was
think if I
really
saw that
spamming it.
dunk in person, I would just probably just quit the session and leave.
Go home, mate. Yeah. Oh, actually though,
I
Brody,
was like,
like,
that's how I felt when I saw Brody dunk in person for the first time. I was like, fuck, like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, I
bro,
just got
I
like,
wanted to
I'm
like
not gonna
jump
lie,
on you, bro.
huh?
I wanted to like jump on him, but I'm like, I don't want him to be like, what the fuck, this weird guy.
I'm not gonna lie, I got like seeing him dunk in person, I got like so fucking like in my head and demotivated. I was like, oh fuck.
Wait,
Like,
really?
yeah, I didn't want to dunk
Oh,
anymore.
what
I
the
was just
fuck?
like, this guy's so
Oh,
fucking good. I'm like,
no, man. Ah, it's hype. It's sick.
no, but don't worry, that won't happen this time.
Yeah, he says that, and like we get to Saturday, bro's like crying in the toilets after.
No, no, no,
You're
that
like,
won't
nah,
happen
fuck
this
this
time.
shit, man. Oh no, but actually,
Yeah,
obviously Brody's like done a lot of dunks, and you guys have seen he's hit all the black band dunks, and many more. But Brody, is there a dunk or like 3 dunks that you would like to hit before the next year? Like, is there like do you have a list of shit you want to hit?
Yeah, I
maybe we
think
should
like
do that on the next podcast.
Yeah,
all right, yeah, we can do that.
as
And
I
then,
say, just real quick, just like list 2 or 3, just for get people's appetites going.
all right, yeah, do that. Sorry.
We'll generally it's just for me it's just about getting consistent ones I've already hit that I might have hit already once, like an East Bay Whirlwind or something like that. But
Mm,
I really want to get consistent again at 360 behind the back. I want to get automatic at that. I want to get
cool dunk.
360 under both. I want to get consistent at that. Like I can back rim that
Oh,
usually, but I can't like it's just so hard controlling the ball on that. At least
it's because you
outdoors
do it.
anyway.
You're spinning clockwise,
Reverse,
right?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And maybe like an under both double up. Like these are all dunks I've hit, but it's just like I want them to be like contest ready, and they're not at the moment. So I mean, they are
Okay.
contest ready if I'm like jumping very well and 100% and like hand speed's on point and I'm in like that flow state, which
Hmm.
might only really the true flow state that I get into, it usually only happens like once or twice a year. That's a whole
It's
other topic
hard.
though.
Yeah.
It's hard to find it and like it's hard to know when you're in it as well early on. So
But then like
um
if you acknowledge that you're in it, you might leave it.
yeah, and I've entered the flow state when I've been like poorly slept the night before or I've
Uh-huh.
carrying like knee pain or like just things that make me normally hesitate a bit or hold back, but I've actually just
Hmm.
gone and like gone crazy. So but yeah, the last time I got into a flow state was the probably the dunk show I did in Cairns, which was only like a month or 6 weeks ago,
Yeah, you went
and
off
that was just because I was hitting everything first attempt, and the preparation
confidence.
was pretty fucked as well because it kept getting delayed. So I'd warmed up and then sort of cooled down, warmed up, cooled down. So but yeah, no, I think yeah, that's a whole other podcast topic though, because that really is a game changer. If you can like, well, it's a game changer for any sport. If you can really dial in and figure out when and where you've hit the flow state, like most frequently, like or how to get into it rather, regardless. Because yeah, a lot of those scenarios, like I said, that I've gotten into the flow state, it's been regardless of the obstacles and the bad
Yeah.
conditions I've been in. I've still been able to get into it now. Sometimes there's a bit of anger or frustration in the background. Maybe you've got something going on in your life, or you've got like some sort of you're just sort of just over and just a bit pissed off, and it's like I'm just going to go after it and just send it, and whatever happens happens kind of thing. Um, but
You
I've been in
almost,
flow
yeah.
state, and I've been in high pressure situations and low pressure situations where I've gone into flow state. So
Yes.
but
You almost,
Hard to
yeah.
pinpoint.
You
yeah,
almost got
it's
to pretend the rim, like, I don't know, like
and
cheated on you or friggin', I don't know, like killed your mom or
Right.
something. I don't know. And you take
Raise
it
the
all out
work.
on the rim.
flow state to me is like the ball stays in my hand basically. That's kind of
Yeah.
what flow state is to me. Like I can get to like a high jumping height pretty consistently, but tying it together with like perfect hand speed and ball control, that's what separates the
Mm,
good from the great,
for sure.
So and I think that is again where low rim dunking could definitely help, just with the hand speed thing, but um
Helps you lock in a little bit.
makes it a bit more automatic, a bit more second nature, yeah.
Mm,
Um but yeah, the that's probably a whole other topic there.
100%. All right.
that's good.
Well, well, without further ado, we'll catch you guys in the next JumpX podcast. Thank you for listening.